Cincinnati Crew.
All right, if everybody's ready, we'll have Coach start us off with the opening statement.
Yeah, I want to start with a couple things real quick. Outside of basketball, I value so much what you guys do in reporting on Louisville basketball, and you guys are all pros, and you pour your heart and soul into your craft. And as we know, a member of your crew we lost this week in Ben Gumble, way too young at 28 years old. Somebody that loved what he did. I like to think a guy whose career was going like this and just taken too early. So my thoughts, my prayers, my condolences go out to Ben's family. And then the other thing I want to address is obviously the disaster that's happening, right now in the state of Kentucky with all of the floods. Again, my prayers, my heartfelt prayers and condolences go out to the families of the victims of the 14 people that lost their lives in the horrible flooding. It's just talking to our team and just a reminder of just how precious life is. And in this state, although you have Kentucky fans and you have Louisville fans, there is such pride in the state of Kentucky and in being a Kentuckian. And we all mourn the loss of those people. I believe Dana provided a link that people can donate to, help the cause of the floods and things like that.
Funerals, yeah.
Yeah, and the funerals of the victims. So if you find it in your heart to make a donation, it would really go a long way and mean a lot. So as far as the game tonight, I think the first thing, and there's probably a good chance we'll play them again in the conference tournament because Coach Hamilton's teams are always gritty and tough, and they'll be playing their best basketball there at the end of the year. So I don't want to say this is the last time I'll play against them because there's a chance that it won't be. But, with him retiring, I came into this league 20-something years ago, 22 years ago when I was at Wake Forest, and he was just coming into the league. His longevity, the success that he's had, he's the longest tenured coach in this conference. He's respected not only in the ACC but around the country to have sustained success the way he has. His teams always are tough, competitive, gritty. And he's a world-class human, too. I didn't get to know him personally throughout the years, but now that I'm a head coach in this league, spending time with him at the spring meetings, very genuine person, has a great heart, and I've really enjoyed getting to know him. And, he's got a bunch of basketball left. He'll have this team playing great. But as he moves forward after this year, we all wish him the best as he moves into retirement. But it's important that we all honor him for the stuff that he's done to make this league great. Like they always are, they were tough. They kept coming at us. They never quit. And I thought our guys, showed a lot of resiliency to figure out a way to get a win at the end. There were some spells at the end of the half. There were some spells in the second half, and especially down the stretch, where we could have done a better job with our defense. But at the end of the day, we found a way to get a big win. I thought Kadir Traore gave us unbelievable energy off the bench. I don't even care what his statistics said. He was a major catalyst in the win. I thought Kenai Roos gave us great minutes. Same thing, just his voice, whether it's in the huddle, on the sideline. That stuff matters. Big Frankie is a huge part of this win as well, just keeping guys locked in, connected. And then, we had a bunch of dudes that had big nights. Javon Hadley, 18 and 11. As we know, he's a mismatch problem, affects the game in so many ways. Chucky Hepburn had an unbelievable stat line. He had 5 steals, 29 points, got to the free throw line a lot. Terrence was in foul trouble a lot, so, it was hard for him to get in the rhythm of the game, but I thought he continued to give us great minutes and just to be that presence out there. And, we're just lucky and fortunate to come out with a win.
Questions for Coach Kelsey? We've got microphones. Raise your hand. Sean, go ahead. Okay.
Coach, Florida State's big, physical. They throw a lot of bodies at you. Just talk about, Javon Hadley plays 38 minutes tonight, and he's battling down there against just the numbers and the hordes of just different big guys. Just talk about his work and just to be able to do that. Only picked up one foul the whole game. Just kind of talk about his work down there.
Yeah. I'm not here to talk about anything to make anybody feel sorry for us, because every team's dealing with adversity. But like, our rotation was a little bit messed up today because we had some guys sick throughout the week. Like, Rain was drained today. He gave us great minutes, but he didn't have his normal legs. Noah, same thing. So those guys both were ready to play and gave it everything they got. But we had to get them in and out of the game just because of fatigue and things like that. So other guys really had to step up and play more minutes, more responsibility than ever. And then, we're dealing with some foul trouble. Chucky was in foul trouble. Fat was in foul trouble. And that's why it's so important to get contributions from other guys like Kadir, who was huge tonight. So, but yeah. I forget the question you asked. I started talking. What did you say again?
No, just Javon just playing.
Yeah, Javon. And that was my point, right? So he played 38 minutes. He had to do so many things. Like, he had to guard that big dude inside number 12, who's a phenomenal post player, as good of a post scorer, feet, hands, IQ as we have in this league. He's really, really good. I think he was the junior college player of the year last year. And you're right. We asked Javon to do a lot. We asked him to guard the best perimeter player at times. We asked him to guard the best post player at times. Not always, but he just does it with a smile on his face. He's a lunch pail, as lunch pail gets, blue collar, and has just had a phenomenal year for us. Sorry.
Pat, you guys, large part of the first half, double-digit lead at the half, but then all of a sudden they start kind of cutting into that thing. What did you see from your team to respond from that?
Just what they normally do. We focus so much and talk about that word. Response is always really big. The circumstances, the stuff that happens to you, you can't do anything about. Whether throughout the year you lose a game, guys get hurt, guys get sick, you get a tough call against you, you miss some shots. It's all about your response. And they did. They continued to battle. They went on runs when we had leads, and our guys continued to meet the challenge. I feel like, and I'm going to watch the tape, but like, during those stretches, and you always give your opponent credit. They attacked us. They were making tough shots. Coach Hamilton's a great coach. You're putting us in tough actions, but our defense has to be better and more consistent. And it has been for the better part of 2 months. And I thought we guarded really well for the majority of the game, but we had too many spells where it was too easy for us to get scored on. So, but yeah, the response to our guys. We have closers on our team. Obviously Chucky's a guy you can put the ball in his hands. Fat's a guy you can put the ball in his hands. Javon's a guy you can put the ball in his hands. And those guys can go make a play late in the game when you need them to.
You mentioned Rain and Noah both kind of, dealing with the sickness that was passing through the team. Are they the only ones that were kind of hit by it, or just how much did it kind of?
Out of like our normal kind of rotation, Rain was the worst. Like, Rain was beat up. It was, and then several coaches, including this guy right here, but nobody cares. My mom does, and then a bunch of other coaches and some of our managers, GAs, stuff like that. There was a bunch of people. We were very fortunate that it really didn't get into our lineup. So rotation. So knock on wood, it doesn't happen, because it was a brutal 36 hours.
It seems like you had the perfect time to not have a midweek game then. Did that kind of change much about how you prepped for this game?
It was late in the week when it happened.
Yeah.
It was late. So yeah, we had to change some things on Thursday night. Friday we had to be really creative about what we did. Definitely did not have our normal Friday. And then this morning, yeah. So it was unique. It was kind of cool. I don't like when people get sick, don't get me wrong, but I always think it's kind of fun when, as weird as that sounds, when you just got to figure stuff out. Guys get hurt, let's figure it out. Guys get sick, figure it out. It's part of the deal. I say all the time, half the world could care less about your problems and the other half are glad you have them. So, we talked about people that are dealing with real life adversity. All we're dealing with is, some chapped lips and a hangnail. So we'll be fine.
Coach, Chucky Hepburn had 17 made free throws tonight. That's a school record. How is he able to draw so many fouls, 11 today? Like, what makes him such a foul magnet?
Oh, geez. That's very, very, very efficient basketball. Like we say, the highest percentage shot in the game is a free throw. So when we talk about the shots we want to generate, you obviously want to try to generate the highest percentage shot in the game first, and that's free throws. So that's just playing off the attack, playing downhill, but you have to play poised as well. I felt like there were some times in the first half we had several guys that were shooting a couple what we call Simone Biles shots around the rim. And if you shoot Simone Biles shots, those are high degree of difficulty shots. Like she does 8 million twists and all this stuff, and she gets a higher score from that. In basketball, if you double clutch and go up and do all this stuff, you still get 2. So when you shoot Simone Biles shots against these guys, that's like a turnover. And turnovers against these guys are touchdowns at the other end. So, so Chucky just plays with such poise when he drives. Like he can, he draws contact on a drive, but sometimes he just gets in there and doesn't, just plays with kind of what I say classical music going on in his head instead of heavy metal, right? If heavy metal's in his, and it looks like there's 700 guys out there, he just stays calm and cool and can kind of survey and spray if somebody's open out on the perimeter, but he just has that good knack for drawing contact as well. So yeah, it was really big for us tonight.
Like 8 minutes left, it was getting a little dicey. I think Terrence had 4 maybe, and Chucky had 3, and they cut the lead. And it seemed like the next 4 minutes just kind of evaporated because Chucky and you guys managed the game. You maybe called a few more sets and were a little more patient. But with a team like this and guards like you have, how nice is it to be able to kind of manage it the way
Yeah,
the team does?
I mean it's a luxury to have the type of closers that we have in Chucky and in Fat and in Javon, and we have really good players, but like those are the guys that you kind of put the ball in their hands late in the game and they're going to make something really, really good happen. I'm fortunate as a coach to have that. It makes you look really smart when you just say, hey, let's get the ball to Chucky and get the crap out of the way. So it's not rocket science, but it's nice late game that you have closers like that can kind of put the game away.
You talked about looking smart, but you said earlier this year about the power of the unit.
I say it every day.
But I'd like to hear what your comments are on you being selected as one of the.
Yeah, man, that's power of the unit. We're really good, and obviously I'm the guy that sits up at the podium that you guys want to talk to, and they put me on some list or something like that. It's the power of the unit. It's 25 strong. Like the student manager's role and job, and you guys are sick of me hearing that, is as important. It's not more important or less important than mine. And it's everybody in that organization having a smile on their face and doing their job with, like our GAs, our student manager, our strength coach, our trainer, our scout team point guard. They think, because I believe it, that in order for us to be great, they have to be in the best in the country at what they do. And it's that mentality, and it's my staff and the belief I have in them and the trust I put in them and the job that they do and the excellence with which they go about every day. And I believe if everybody in the organization is that way, I've said this many times, results take care of themselves, and for the better part of this year, they have. But I wish that whatever that list is, I wish it said, it was about a program, it was about an organization, it was about a staff, it was about 25 strong, because that's the reason that we're good.
Well, I wanted to ask, what did you think that winning an award like that would do for this program?
I would give all the glory to God and all the glory to all the people in our organization that build me up and help me to be a really, really good head coach. And it's because of those guys. So I'm not going to talk about that. Like, it's a joke that I'm even on there with some of those names. Like, are you kidding me? Like, those names? I don't worry about that. I give all the credit to the people in our organization that pour themselves into their job every day, and that's why we're good, period.
Pat, the game with 39 fouls in Florida State is always known as a physical challenge. How do you adjust over the course of a game to that physical challenge?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important that you always adjust to a game, how it's being called, whether it's the physicality in a game, whether it's the whatever it is, and I think good teams kind of can adapt throughout the course of the game. But man, they're always physical, they're always tough, they're always gritty. So you just knew coming in the game that it was going to be that way. We knew we had to be great in transition, and part of being great in transition was taking care of the ball, playing clean because you don't want turnovers for touchdowns. Defensive rebounding was going to be really big because they have a ton of guys that crash the glass. And then we just said the rock fight. It was going to be a rock fight out there, and that's what it was. It's always that way when you play Florida State. You got to be ready for the battle because that's how Coach Hamilton's teams play. And they did that tonight. And I thought we met that challenge, and it was a really good college basketball game.
Coach, you out rebound Florida State today, 31-27. Your team has consistently been on the positive side of the rebounding battle, even though you're undersized. Against a big team like that, what makes your team so good?
I don't know how undersized we are, but even if you say we are undersized, I always say, because my mentor, Coach Prosser, used to say, it's not how big you are, it's how big you play. And we really, really value rebounding. We preach it, we teach it, we grade it, we celebrate it. Rebounding is like defense. It's an attitude. It's based on toughness. There's obviously a technique to it on the defensive end. You got to hit, you got to box out, you got to pursue the ball. And then on the offensive end, we pursue the ball as well. We got tough guys that treat those balls in the air like loose balls. And for the most part, we've been a very good rebounding team.
All right, thank you all.
All right, thank you.